Here are some super important things to consider this year as your kids are doing online school. Many of your kids are, thanks to coronavirus. It's a weird year, and I know a lot of parents are struggling with figuring out how to do school, how to partly homeschool. But the main thing we want to talk about is your kids are on the internet a lot more. We quarantined for a while, and some kids were bored out of their mind and just living on their phones or their tablets or the internet to feel some sense of connection. There's some pros to that. There's some cons to that. And then same with school now. Our kids are on phones, tablets, computers. They have to for school more than ever. Again, some pros and cons to that, but there's some major safety things that I just want to run by you to always be considering. I like to call online a predator playground. Online has everything, good, bad, everything in between. The worst of the worst is out there, and some of the best knowledge and tools are out there. But nonetheless, think of the worst predators you can possibly think of, and the internet is a prime place for them to find your children. We've made it easier. The internet has made it easier for predators to come after your kids without the physical dangers they used to face. So, in the past, before internet, if someone wanted to come after a child, then they would have to physically do that, which means someone might catch them and physically beat the crap out of them, kill them. There was a lot of dangers to coming after a child. But now, when they're doing it virtually, they're smart. I want you to know that a lot of predators, not all, some are dumb as doorknobs, but some are extremely smart. A lot of them smarter than we are about the internet, because they've been doing this for a while. They know the dangers, right? They know that they could get tracked. So a lot of them know how to cover their trail, how to come from ISPs that are fake or lead to somewhere else. It's not as easy to catch a criminal through the internet trails as you would think it would be if they are the smart kind, which there's unfortunately a lot of those. A lot of them are pre-thinking, I'm going to do this, but how do I do this without getting caught? So most of us, day-to-day life, we're not thinking, how do I hide my trail of everything I do? Because we're not doing anything we're that worried about anyone following anyways. Some of these people spend a lot of time just researching how to not get caught. So they've got this veil protecting them as they come after your kids through the internet. And how many of you, be honest, are with your kids every time they're on a phone, every time they're on a tablet, every time they're on the computer? We often think, well, I just set them off to do their homework. I see them sometimes, I pass by, whatever. We think we're aware, but often we're not. So again, think of it as a predator playground, the internet. Would you take your kids to a physical playground or place where, let's say on the news or from friends, you start to find out that place is known for having predators looking for children there? They're looking to come after your kids sexually, kidnap them, or even just be inappropriate with them. Most of us, if someone told us that about a physical place, we would just avoid that place. We'd be like, I'm not going to that park anymore. I'm not going to that amusement place anymore. I'm certainly not sending my kid in there alone. And yet, the internet is a predator playground that we are sending our kids in alone sometimes. So this year, as your kids are doing online school and they're going to need to be on the internet more than ever, try not to get lax. Try to be present. The potential of the kind of harm that can happen to our kids is vast. It could be anywhere from just getting an inappropriate message to possibly being kidnapped and sex trafficked. And I've spent a lot of time researching addiction and pornography addiction and reading my fair share of stories of sex trafficking victims, and had even people I know be in the more mild but still real category of being sex trafficked. And some of the stories you read out there are horrific. You would rather have your child probably die than to go through what some sex traffic victims go through. So knowing that those dangers are so horrible for our children, why would we then put them right in harm's way by giving them a device or giving them something that is predators are just looking for that child that is alone, that is unmonitored? We also sometimes think that our kids don't know how to get into stuff where they could possibly come across this. They're not interested in that, or they're only on this, they're only on that. I have their password. And we think if we're not present, but we've done these other things, that they're safe. There's a lot of false thinking behind that. Why that sometimes is true, or you think, another mentality is, oh, my kids tell me everything. They're super comfortable talking to me. So if anything happens, they're going to tell me. Not always true. You having their password doesn't always protect them. You thinking that they only get on to look or do certain things, or that certain things are locked up well. The people targeting children in the porn industry in general falsely label things so that things that are blocked, they still can pop up and get past it. They're spending so much time focusing on finding ways to get through filters and get through your little roadblocks. And trust me, they can get through your roadblocks. And trust me, as your kids get older, and it's getting younger and younger, that kids are getting extremely tech savvy, they can get through your blocks. And you've probably taught your kids what the dangers are, or what's wrong, what's right, what to be safe about, which is good. But the one downfall of that is if your kids come across things, if you're lucky, they tell you. But depending on their curiosity level, depending on if the predator is really good at what they're doing in striking your child's interest, but your child knows that they shouldn't really be talking to them, they may delete a lot of things before you're ever going to see it or know, and continue conversations with people that they shouldn't. So again, just as your kids are on devices more this year with doing school online, it's just a warning out there. Not everybody studies pornography and how that industry functions and studies predators. I'm not the expert, but I've definitely studied a lot to just want to share that with you all. For me personally, my daughter is only 4, but she doesn't have devices, and I know, some 4-year-olds do. And for me, I'm not going to put the internet in her hands for a really long time. And when she's ever allowed to use internet, it's going to be extremely monitored. And I've had to talk to our family about that, talk to even friends, and said, hey, I just want to let you know that our daughter's never allowed to be alone with a phone, a tablet, a computer. I don't care what color your skin is. I don't care what religion you are. We're really open-minded, but if I find out that she's on devices without adult supervision, then that would be grounds that I wouldn't send her to someone's house again. And it's been awkward to lay that down so firm and wonder what other parents will think if they think I'm too uptight. But most parents really understand. But I also see parents who are super good parents who just don't understand the dangers. I have seen parents who are like, well, my kid just really wants XYZ, or my kid just really this or that. And so, and they just give them the phone at a young age, and they just let them have the apps and the Snapchats and the things that automatically delete themselves. Like, the second I heard about Snapchat, I was like, wait, kids are using this all the time and things automatically delete it? Their trail is deleted, so you as a parent can't even know what they're sending back and forth. And even before Snapchat was invented, sexting between young kids was becoming a problem. Like, such a bad idea, guys. And again, there's really good parents who are not understanding how dangerous it is. It's not your job to be the cool parent. It's not your job to make your kids happy all the time. It's more so your job to protect them. And most kids by their 20s and 30s will be grateful for the protections you put in place for them. They may fight you on something now that in their 20s or 30s they're going to be like, my parent made the right choice. I hated that they didn't let me XYZ, but now I'm like, my parents are so smart, and I'm not going to let my child XYZ either, because I'm going to put those protections. And so sometimes it sucks that you'll get thanked later for certain things, but and I know that we're busy and we're juggling so much, and sometimes it's really nice to set a kid down and have their focus be on something else so you can go do something. But really go old school if you need that time away. Put in a movie where it's not tapped into the internet. Don't leave them alone with a TV that they're gonna get on YouTube on the TV. Don't leave them alone with a computer. Don't leave them alone with a phone or a tablet. Not even because you can't trust your child, but you can't trust who's out there looking for them and what can happen there. Hopefully we're growing and realizing as a society that what I'm saying isn't extreme. It's just a necessary precaution. You shouldn't leave guns out where kids can just get them for obvious reasons. It's not because people are extreme or anal or anti-gun. It's just a safety thing. Like, when you know the dangers of a gun, it's not that guns are bad. Not even in my opinion. I'm not anti-gun. But, like, put the protections in place for that gun. And that is the same as the internet. So, good luck this year. Please stay present, even though it's hard when your kids are on the internet.